Hey, I'm Ami, and welcome to Ready, Set, Animate. So for today's workshop, we're just gonna need some very simple supplies. Some paper, A4 or letter size paper. We're gonna need like probably around 20 to 30 sheets of that. We're gonna need something to draw with, something preferably indelible, a dark art pencil, a Sharpie, a pen, a thin marker, fine point marker, that would be cool. And just some tape, masking tape, artist tape, something that'll stick on and be able to create a frame with, but won't ruin the finish of your table, whatever you're working on. So that's it, and also a free app called Stop Motion Studio. You can download that. That's it, let's get started. So now we're gonna do an exercise called bringing the mundane to life. So let's look around our house, around our room, find something really kind of simple, a little boring, that we're gonna make exciting and fun. I'm gonna use this cool coffee cup. Actually, it's not that cool, but that's why I'm gonna make it cool. So why don't you guys all take a minute, look around your house, your room, whatever, and find something really simple and kind of boring to draw. The boringer, the better. Let's take a minute and do that. Oh, awesome. That is boring. So before we get started, just here's some examples of things that I've done, different ways to kind of bring something like this coffee cup, which is super boring, to life. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take 4 pieces of paper, take 90 seconds, and do a drawing, however you want it, of your coffee cup. So kick your timer out, set it for 90 seconds, and we're going to start. The reason why we time these things is because animation is not like an illustration where it's a finished piece and you're looking at it for a long time. Each piece of your animation really only works as it works together with the other pieces and creates something like that way. So sometimes the minutiae of details and whatever are not really necessary when you draw each frame. And also when you're doing a big production animation, you're gonna have to draw a lot of frames. So you wanna be able to budget your time and time yourself by how much time you're spending on it. So we're gonna start with 90 seconds. You might wanna spend a little more time on your own at some point, but it's a good way to just kind of get moving and make a lot of things and experiment and learn. And I talked about before, making mistakes is part of this, or accidents, I like to call them. Happy accidents are kind of the best way to learn. Think about what you wanna do and the story you might want to tell, whether it's a kind of just an abstract visual story or if you actually want your character to do something. I'm going to make mine angry again because I just can't help myself. All right, 90 seconds is up. Let's all take a look at what we've done. Here's mine. Let's see yours. On the bottom corner, I'm gonna write, you might see here, a 1, just to know that it says frame 1 of my animation. So what you wanna do with your next drawing is you wanna take your piece of paper and you actually wanna lay it over your first drawing. Now the reason we're drawing with a dark thing like a Sharpie is that we're gonna be able to kind of see through our paper a little bit, or a Sharpie or a dark pencil or something like that. The reason we're doing this is we don't want our next frame to be exactly the same, but we want it to be in the same basic relative position as our first one. Otherwise, it's just going to jump all around the page and we probably won't be able to see the story that we really want to tell because your thing will be moving too much. So let's start, 90 seconds. So now I have my second piece of paper on top of my first, so I can trace the basic position of my coffee cup. I'm going to do it like so. And don't worry if it's not exact, it's not a big deal. There's gonna be some movement, but that's animation. Everything is moving all the time. So I've basically drawn the basic shape of the coffee cup, but I'm gonna change my character a little bit now. I'm gonna draw this shadow line. Open his mouth a little bit. Open his eyes like he's about to do something. And his little hand, which was kind of just hanging out there in a fist, It's gonna go way up there. Oh no, I don't know what's gonna happen. And I can kind of like take it off. Kind of see the one side by side now. Just kind of see some different things and kind of see how they all kind of work together. And voila. And then I'm gonna make sure again that I write frame 2 on it. And so now I have my second frame. Third piece of paper. And I'm gonna use the first piece of paper as my reference each time, just so things have a tendency to change a little bit. It's kind of when you tell a story through the grapevine. So referencing the first piece of paper is a good idea to kind of keep from the original spot. So I'm gonna start my 90 seconds again. Now we're going to take our fourth piece of paper and do our final drawing. So now I have my original drawing, and then I have frame 2, frame 3, and then frame 4. Now that we have all our drawings done, it's time to ready, set, animate. No, let's not do that. I mean, let me do it right. So before we start shooting our animation, we're just gonna tape down this frame that we made out of tape and a piece of paper, just so we can put each of our drawings in the same place when we shoot it. It helps with keeping it straight and the registration we talked about. Again, we don't want our drawings, each of our frames, to be bouncing all over the frame of the animation because it's just gonna kind of look kind of crazy. And then I'm gonna take my first drawing, voila, and put it down in the frame. After that, I'm gonna take my phone. So when you open up Stop Motion Studio, click on a new movie on the top left, click on new movie, you'll come up with this frame. This is where you'll actually start to preview your animation. We're gonna click on this little camera on the top right, and that'll open up our shooting screen. Now, a couple things to note real quick. As you can see, here we can click on this icon on the bottom to turn on and off our grid. We should turn our grid on because it's very helpful in lining up each of our drawings. The next thing we want to do is turn on onion screen. So basically slide this little slider down and that'll help us preview the next frame once we've shot them. You'll see what happens in a second. So what we want to do is hold our camera as square as we can above our drawing, and try to use the grid lines to kind of line up the edges so we can get this as square as possible. And click the button and you'll take your first shot. What we want to do next, take our next frame, put it in there, try to line it up in the same exact place. And we're going to take our second shot. Our third frame. And then our fourth frame. So now I've shot all my frames. What I do next is click this little arrow on the top, and I can click play to preview what I have. And you can see I have this little animation. It's a little angry coffee cup hitting the ground and a little coffee spilling out. So once we're done, we have our animation like we like it. We click the little arrow up here, and you click the share button, and you have some options here when you want to share it. Probably a GIF, because that's the easiest way to share. You can just email it to someone, they can open it. It's cool. So here's an animated GIF, and then you'll have your normal sharing options you have on my phone. I'm gonna save this on my phone, and that's it. So what do you think? Those turn out cool? How'd yours turn out? Let me see. That's awesome. You made that unboring AF, as the kids say. That's it. Thanks for animating with me. Hope you guys go do some more cool animations. Follow me if you're interested at AmiRocks73 on Instagram or at gonzoviz.com.